Dear student, in this session we will discuss subtopic 2.2, that is system calls from unit number 2, services and components of operating system. In the previous session we discussed different services provided by operating system. So basically the services is categorized into user related services and the system related services. The user-related services we discuss is the user interface, then program execution, IO operation, file system manipulation, communication, and error detection. System-related services we discuss is the resource allocation, accounting, and protection and security. Now, in this session, we will discuss what is system call and the types of system calls. So the course outcome is you will able to use operating system tools to perform various functions, and the learning outcome of this particular session is you will able to differentiate between the user services and the system services with example. Now let us discuss about the system call. System call, it is nothing but it provides an interface to the services available by the operating system. Now, these services are available as routines, or you can call it as programs which has been written in C or and C++ language. Now let us discuss how an operating system makes a system call. So here is one simple example related to reading the data from one file and copying them to another file. So what is required to do this is, first of all, we need the names of two files, that is the input file and the output file. Once these two things are available with us, we need to open the input file. So that we can copy the content from the input file to the output file. Now, another thing required is to create the output file. If the file is already created, then we will abort, otherwise we'll continue. Now, enter to the loop and read the contents from the input file and write the contents to the output file. So the two system calls, that is reading the data from the input file and writing to the output file. Now this loop will continue till the read fails or end of file. And finally, once the file is copied, the both files get closed. So the close system call is there, and write a message to the console. So the write is the system call, that the files has been successfully copied, and finally the execution of the process get terminated normally, and the system call here is the terminal. So in this way, to copy the content from one file to another file, these are the different steps we have to perform. Thus, system executes thousands of system calls per second. Now, diagrammatically, here we can see how the sequence of system call executed one after the another, that is copying the content from the source file to the destination file. Now to do this, let us see the sequence of the files. That is, first we require to acquire the input file name. So to do this, we have to prompt onto the screen, then input the file, then acquire output file name, prompt output to the screen, then accept the name of the output file, then open the input file. Now if file doesn't exist, then the process will abort. Otherwise, it will create the output file. Again, if the file exists, then the process abort. Otherwise, it will continue to copy the content from input file to the output file. So the loop will execute, that is reading the data from the input file and writing the data to the output file. So this loop continues until the read fails or end of file. And finally the output file is closed. Once the file is closed, the write completion message is displayed onto the screen that one file is copied successfully, and lastly the process get terminated normally with the terminate system. Now the programming interface to the services provided by operating system assist via programs, a high level application program interface which is written in the high level language. So three most common APIs are used to do this. For Windows system, the Win32 API is used for Unix, Linux and the Mac operating systems. The POSIX API is used, and for the Java virtual machines, the Java API is used. Now let us see the relationship between an API, the system call interface and the operating system. This figure illustrates how the operating system handles the user application invoking the open system call. Now here the open system call related to user is sent to the system call interface, and then the operating system executes the open system call, and the corresponding resultant value or the written value is sent back to the system call interface, and finally it is given back to the user. So here one simple example has been given related to execution of system call. Let us assume that a C program invoke a statement called as printf. Now this particular is given to the standard C library which invoke the necessary system call by the operating system, and the corresponding output is sent back to the user, so that we will able, after execution of this system call, we will able to see the output onto the screen, that is reading. This is how the execution of system call takes place. Now, different types of system calls are, they have been categorized into major 5 categories. The process control, that is the system call related to processes, comes under this. System calls related to managing the files comes under this. System calls related to devices, storage devices comes under this. Then information related to system, that is the maintenance related to system comes under this, and the communication related system calls comes under this. Now first of all we will see the process control. So this system call performs the task of creation the processes, termination of processes and so on. So whatever the task that we want to perform related to process execution, all the related system call comes under this. Now say for example, if we want to load a process or a program into the memory, so the system call used is the load. Once the process or once the program is loaded into the memory, the program is executed. That is, the process is executed. So the system call used for it is execute. In order to create any particular process, the system call used is the create, and in order to terminate any process, the terminate system call is used. Now here, if any particular process is terminated normally after completion of the process, then the end is the system call. But if this process is terminated abnormally, then the system call invoked is the abort system call. Then the next set of system call is the get process attributes and the set process attributes. Now, if we create new process or set of processes, then we need to control its execution. This control requires to determine and reset the attributes of processes, like process priority, its maximum execution time, and so on. And to do this, we use the system call, that is the get process attributes and the set process attributes. Now, once the process created, we may need to wait for the process execution, that is for certain amount of time to pass. So to do this, the system call is wait time is the system call, and then sometimes we want to wait for a specific event to occur. So the wait event is invoked. Okay. And once the event has occurred, process should then signal, and that is signal using the signal event system. And finally, the set of two system call, that is the allocate and the free. So if we want to allocate a memory for the process, then the allocate system call is used. And once the execution of process get completed, we want to deallocate the memory. So the system call free is used. Then the system call related to file management. So this handles the file manipulation jobs like creating the file, reading and writing the files, and so on. So all the operations related to the files comes under this, or all the system calls related to file comes under this. That is creating a file. So the system call is create. Deleting the file, the system call is delete. Opening the file, the system call is open, and closing the file, the system call is close. Now once the file is open, we want to read the file, so the read is the system call. We want to write the file, the write is the system call. And sometimes we want to reposition the pointer into the file, so the reposition is the system call, so that from that particular point we can edit the file, or we can search the file, or whatever the operation we want to perform onto the content of the file. Finally, the get and set file attributes. So file attributes like say for example name of file, then the type of file, then the protection codes, that is reading, writing and executing, then information, accounting information, and so on. So to do all this, we need to set the attributes of file. So the system calls related to it are get and set file attributes. Then the device management related system calls does the job of device manipulation, that is reading from device buffer and writing into device buffer, so on. So whenever we want to perform any operations onto the files or the directories that are available onto the devices, we need to request the devices before, or resources we can call, before using those resources. Because if the resources are available, they can be granted us to the user. If not, then we have to wait for getting the permission to use. So to do this, we have the request and the release device, this set of system call. So request, it is used to request the device to get access of the resource. Once the resource is available, We logically attach with that particular resource. So this is what the another set of command that is logically attached with the device. Once the work related to the device is completed, that is reading the contents from the device or writing the contents from the device or reposition it. Once the operation related to the device get completed, we need to release the device so that other processes may use that particular device or request. And to do this, we have the release device and the detach device system call, with the help of which the device will be detached and will be used by other processes. And finally, the get and set device attributes. These are same as that of the file management attributes, in which we have the specifically the device names and its certain information related to the account. In information maintenance, it handles information and its transfer between the operating system and the user program. So whatever the information, additional information that exists, it may be related to system, that is the current date and time. Then other information related to systems such as number of current users, how much number of current users, the number of operating system, then amount of free memory and disk space. All of this information is maintained by the maintenance information. Additionally, the operating system keeps the information about all its processes. So this is get processes and the set processes, with the help of which it keeps information of the processes and the system calls used to access this information. Then calls are used to reset the process information. So the set of system calls are get process attributes and the set process attributes. Then the last type of system call comes under the communication, used for the inter-process communication. So in order to do communication between the processes available in the same PC or between the processes available on different systems, then we need to create first or delete the communication connection. Because once the communication connection is established, then only we will able to transmit the data or the messages from one process to another or from one system to another. So the set of system call is send and receive message, with the help of which we transmit the data or the process from one process to another. It also helps the operating system to transfer the status information related to the processes. And finally, the set of system call is the attach or detach the remote devices. That means if we want to communicate with different devices connected with the communication lines, then to do the communication we need to attach with the device, remote device, and once the communication is completed, we detach from the remote device. So this is all about the system calls related to process control, file management, device management, information maintenance, and communication. The book referred for this particular session is Operating System Concept by the Silvercruise, Galvin and Gagnon. Thank you.